Simon, come on, get here. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
What's up? What's good? What's popping? What's cracking? What's percolating? What's really good in the hood?
Chill in the building early. That's just going to be Chill's thing I see these days. Early.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. I call him. I call him Drew Chill. Drew Chill.
What's going on, everybody? Let us know who's here in the chat. Let us know. We got six, 7 people watching.
Yeah. We got people listening. It's a Black Panther reunion. It's a Black Panther. Sure. We making it do what it do this evening.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what it is. Back of the Bus podcast again with I ain't saying, I'm just saying, Mr. Theo Butler. Y'all know what we're here to do today.
Y'all here to do today. Y'all see it. Y'all know we ain't come to play around. We ain't come to play around.
We got here quick. I feel like we got here really fast. Like this joint got announced last fall. And we was all like, man, damn, we gotta wait that long time, man. These really issues on my back, bro. I wish I can get away. Here we are. Brand new Black Panther issue 1.
Issue 1.
Issue 1.
Ewing, we got a new author. We got a new artist. We got a new costume. It's looking like we may have a new love interest. Come on, boy, look here. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just.
Maybe. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to talk about it all. And we're going to get your guys' thoughts as well. You're going to let us know what you're thinking about, what you're expecting to see in the book, how you feeling about everything. And we'll rock out here for a little bit and we'll get to it. One of the... What up, Steezel? What up, Josh? Saying what's up to everybody I see in the chat so far.
Everybody.
One of the things I wanted to do to start is just read the synopsis and now to give us a good jumping off point for issue number 1. It says, banished from the throne and a fugitive in his own homelands, T'Challa still can't leave Wakanda without its sworn protector. A king without a crown, he finds new purpose lurking the streets and the shadows of the Wakandan city that bears his father's name, Burin T'Chaka. Dun, dun, dun.
It's hard out here for a panther.
King fugitive king.
It's hard out here. Fugitive king. Can you be both? Can you be
Apparently. Well, you know what? So let's nitpick it because that's what we're here to do, right? And we haven't read the book yet. She's obviously not letting the king all the way go, right? We obviously not starting back where we would want to be, based off of the
previous run. We just gonna say
the creator of a finale from the previous writer. We're kind of left with what we are. Let's set the stage properly. Let's put it in the proper context for those who didn't put themselves through the torture of the John Ridley run of Black Panther. That run ended with T'Challa being ousted from Wakanda. Him ending his skirmish with Jai almost really trying to supplant him as king again. But then he doesn't want to be king. He'll never be king again. They do this whole big goodbye thing with everybody from Wakanda watching T'Challa, take off into the distance. Like, it didn't even look like they was going to let him stay in the country at that point. That boy got in the ship and took off.
Look, man. Went into outer space.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it went. Went in outer space. He needed some time.
We got some quotes from Ramunda. It feels so final. This feels different from every other time he's ever left Wakanda. You know what I mean? We got some teases from some new characters, Falasade, Tosin, right? That's what we're left with currently. Is not a very good state for your titular character, man. Which seems to be a very treacherous spot to be in Marvel Comics these days. Just ask Amazing Spider-Man fans. But that's where we're at, right? So, given John Ridley's jumping off point there, no longer king, no longer husband and confidant to Storm, to Aurora Monroe. He's a bad mentor, the gentle. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on of the tragedies that came out of that.
You know what we would say about T'Challa if all that was true. He ain't ish. He ain't about nothing.
Nah, he ain't about shit.
Like that's what we would say. Yeah, that's what we would say. Man, T'Challa ain't ish. You kicking it with him, man? That dude's sorry.
It's almost as if like maybe he wasn't showing up in another major part of the media, and maybe that's just kind of how they wanted you to feel at the moment since he wasn't going to be on the big screen.
All I know is this. This me being low-key petty. I cannot wait till Folasar and everybody give him his roses for them not being judged doing X-Men, doing Avengers versus X-Men versus each other. Who was judged? Nobody. They need to listen. Damn it, they need to write that into canon. Nobody was judged. Nobody.
At all.
Okoye, Anika, T'Challa, Hunter. Hunter wasn't even judged.
It's such an oversight to continuously describe your that country as the most powerful, the most technologically advanced country in the world, but then leave them out of some of the most like, well, at least what you're telling me are the most important events of the year. Like, what is that moniker for if you don't call on them in times of dire straits?
It's crazy because I want to present it in its true light. Wakanda was part of Secret Invasion. Mm-hmm. Wakanda was part of King in Black. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, they were not a part of this. They were a part of Avengers versus X-Men. I know that's what Wakanda got flooded. Yeah. They were a part of they were part of Secret Wars. They were a part of the Excursion storyline. They were. This one, they need to give T'Challa his flowers. Like everybody need to give him everybody from Wakanda. Why they could,
kept the whole country from being judged, huh? Somehow.
While they were trying to run him out of Wakanda, my dog said, "I still gotta feel safe in place." So
and it's funny because like they didn't. It's not like they left him completely out the story. We see Star Fox hopping over and kicking it with T'Challa and Wakanda when they're talking to the world leaders. But it's like, damn, if anybody from Wakanda got judged, because I didn't see it. I sure as hell didn't see it. Show didn't pop up in the book that was going on at that time. I know that.
You know what I love? You ready? Here's a great storyline. Because the Celestial that they were using was the progenitor per se, right?
Right.
I need to see a storyline somewhere involving either him and Mosi. There's a huge gap between him and Bashinga. So it might have been somebody in between there. But it either need to be him, Bashinga, or whoever filling in that gap, being able to say why the Celestials just didn't mess with them. Just left them the hell alone.
You want me to give you one? Here's one.
Go ahead.
Here's one. So the Celestials thing was that it was judging, and it was also bringing up a lot of people's ills, their past, their worst moments, right? And kind of laying it out for people to see. The progenitor was coming to them in the forms of other people. Given the very, very, very like targeted descent of everybody around T'Challa and Wakanda out of that run from that man, who shall go unnamed, right?
Unnamed. We doing
Does that not feel like everything we seen from the progenitor and how he was coming at people and how he was kind of being very accusatory and petty, right? With that whole saga, everything that just happened in Wakanda, and then end up with everybody is basically Wakanda versus T'Challa at the end of it. Would that not feel like one of those progenitor fever dreams that was bouncing around at the time of Acts? Whoa, that sounds like a very convenient way to retcon this whole thing the hell up out of there.
I feel what you're saying. I would want it to be meaningful in that we got meat on the bone. Let's eat. Like, let's tell a story. Like,
The meat is rancid though. The meat is molded. It may not be edible. Okay, you know, the meat that guy left is not. I don't know if that's the meat we want.
I mean, I'm with you. I can't tell you that you're wrong. I'm with you. I want to see people dare to be creative. I want to see people get back into telling some good stories. I want to see people not be afraid to take up the challenge to make comic books again. That's what I want. I want somebody to take it. Hey, so this was going on. Oh, I see a nice little story here. I can do something with this. That's what I desire. Killmonger got a request that we touch on something real quick, and I'm trying to bring it. I'm trying to find it because I know we talked about it.
Looking for a nod that he's in Carol's Avengers. Absolutely. Oh, you talking about right here? This what you was looking for?
Yeah, I'm trying to find mine. You know I'm trying to find it. I don't like it. You know
you mean my man's right here, huh? The king? Yeah. Hold on. Let me show y'all how they address him. You know what I'm saying? How they put some respect on his name. Let's see here.
A whole bunch of respect on the dog's name.
Oh, the star. Okay, all right. The icon, we're gonna skip on right past that one.
D-Real is calling me right now on D-Real. I know you see the thing, man. Hit the link up in Twitter.
Look at your inbox, D-Real. Jump in.
D-Real up in Twitter, man. We're trying to get you in chip. I'm trying to daggum it because I don't like that.
But down here at the bottom is where we get into there. Y'all see what they call my man? Y'all see what they called him? What's that? What is that? D.O.? What's that?
The king. That's the king. That's the king.
King.
The king.
We're not letting this go.
Look, that's what happens when you got a central location on social media and you be like, hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. Bring back T'Challa.
I mean, pretty much. I guess we'll wait for our kind of theories on the first arc here for D-Real to hop on if he's coming. But so let me ask you this.
Yes, I'm here for it.
With everything Black Panther related, comic books and otherwise, films, everything that's going on with the actors, I think even I just seen a quote from Letitia Wright today saying that there's nothing moving at all on Black Panther. It seems like she has a bit of an MCU future going forward, but it nothing right now in terms of Wakanda. So,
right.
Do you think we've gotten enough of a rebuke from the Black Panther content that we've gotten over the last couple of years, comic books and otherwise, and film, to warrant a stark change in the direction for the brand? Do you think that they've kind of addressed fan anxiety with this title in particular? We know what the studios are going through right now, but in the Wakanda office, do you think things are turning?
And this might just be me being optimistic. I've spoken on quite a few videos. What I believe prior to the movie was that the assumption was made is that we're giving them something that they know little to nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and people can say what they want to, I believe what Derek said. They didn't necessarily like the response. The financial response, yes. But the sentimental response, the moral response, the integrity response, the identity response, I don't think they were too fond of that. Then we use an actor's passing as a convenient excuse to do away with damn near all black males in the film. Let me stress that. People think it was just as simple as the actor killing off the character. No, they used the actor's passing as an excuse to do away with damn near every masculine male. Notice I didn't say heterosexual. Notice I said masculine male because you can be a gay masculine man. They did away with all of that just to turn around and recast a character that's not as popular as the one that they chose to kill off. They put that movie out. They thought they could hoodwink, bamboozle, and play with people. There was a groundswelling of support that started shortly after Chadwick Boseman passed. There was a groundswelling of support, knowledge in regards to the character. They underestimated who knew about that character. This just my opinion. They thought it was just a small demographic. They failed to realize that this character reaches all demographics. They press pause because they know damn good and well, we talk about all the resources that Disney has and everything like that. They know damn good and well we're not supporting anything. And Disney has went through a whole bunch of financial shifts and everything like that. People that lost their jobs. We don't need to act like that. They're not going to put out anything Wakandan based unless they can get a good feel for it. And right now, what they're not prepared to do, they're not prepared to say recast the character. They understand that if they're not prepared to say we will recast the character, they know we're not prepared to support the IP going forward.
And that is probably the result or what results in there being no movement on Black Panther 3. Because if it's untenable with what you currently have and getting worse with the news that we talked about on Monday with Tanakh, if it's currently untenable, but you can't necessarily dip right back to what you were supposed to do in the first place, in my opinion, because of all of the stank you done put up on it. So yeah, you ain't got no choice but to pause now. You have no choice because you're not going to continue to fight. They can't fight the market anymore. They can't fight it anymore. And I think Black Panther was an interesting early warning signal that this thing was turning sour, because as much as the anti-woke or the, just the general Marvel hate train stuff has grown over the last couple of years with some of their failures that they've had, it's not like at that time when they decided to do what they did for Black Panther, they were getting pushback, but they chose to ignore it mostly until they got a little bit closer to the film actually being released. They really weren't saying anything about it. They were treating it as if it was nothing was happening, nothing to see here. The calls were popping up on national news outlets, things of that nature, celebrities speaking on it. They ignored it. And so just giving that example as a case study, an individual IP, that fan base's IP got loud enough to reach you from one property here. Now, I don't think it was general Marvel fans, but they got loud enough to reach you collectively and through other individuals. And they ignored it. They chose to stick the course with what they wanted to do. Now, that's certainly a decision, right? Studios have a right to do that. Companies have a right to do that. That's what you chose to do. I don't think there was any clearer evidence than the fact that you made about half of the money that the initial movie made, that you made a mistake. That same, I'm about to pass right back to you. I think that same mentality permeated a lot of their other decision making, that, hey, we know best. We know we're going to dampen the fan calls, and we're going to give it our go. We're going to give it what we think is best. It seems the way they went.
They have been so irresponsible, and not just this IP, but other IPs. They say you should never ask for someone's job, someone to be fired. But I believe if you're costing a company money, forget how I feel about your individual decisions. If your decisions are costing that company money, then you need to be let go.
Yeah. You said something very, very important. if you're costing the business money, at that point we don't have to talk about black, white representation.
We
Because
don't.
a company's bottom line is to what? Make money. You had a
Made
property that made 1.3 billion in its introductory film without a whole bunch of, ooh, let me go grab Harrison Ford, let me go grab the Incredible Hulk, let me go get Seinfeld chick and throw her in this movie too. You didn't need all of that. You had a black cast of a lot of actors that were getting their first major like push around this time, and it worked and it popped. And instead of recreating it the exact same way it was, you tried to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
And
Let me say this.
Go.
Let me say, because to your point, what you said, it's not about race. It's not about that. But you did bring Nate Moore in to do a job. You did. You brought Nate Moore in to do a job. He suggested to you the hottest IP. That's somebody that didn't look like Nate Moore could have suggested, if you're gonna do a movie,
Oh, sure.
People of color, do Black Panther. That's not a rocket science decision. But he's been irresponsible ever since then. A few months after that, you feeling yourself. So it's not the star. It's not the actor. I mean, it's not the character. It's you. It's Nate. We're gonna move the mantle. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. Then you go on Ringerverse, and without taking anybody else into consideration, the only person you spoke to was the director. And Kevin Feige went along with you because what was he gonna say? He don't look like the actor. He don't look like the character. Who should be in touch? Who should have had their ear to the ground when it came to that character and the actor? The dude that he hired, the dude that he said was the Wonder Kid, the dude that he said, you can get me in the room with them. That's the same dude he listened to when it came to Eternals. Nate Moore right now is responsible, merchandise-wise, for two of the biggest flops in Marvel history. Merchandise from the Eternals, which he greenlit and fast-tracked, and Black Panther 2. That's him. That's him. That's the dude that you hired. That's the dude that can't even guarantee people that look like him, as in me, Marcus, and Josh, and D-Real, and D-Steezel. He can't even guarantee you we gonna show up for a movie any further. What good is he?
That's a good question. Let's go ahead and let's talk about the book a little bit. I guess we'll hear from D-Real when he holler at us.
Okay.
But so real quick, right? On the run in Bernan T'Chaka, I'm a fugitive. Do we think, based off of what we've seen from the costume, right? Very what was the run? Was it Man Without Fear?
Mm-hmm.
Very Man Without Fear. Does he have his Black Panther powers? Yes or no?
I know
Are they gonna? I mean, we didn't see them strip it out of him. But does he just get to walk around with the powers of the Black Panther if he's no longer the Black Panther officially?
Well, watch this. To me, this Panther suit is more tribal than utility based. The one when he was the Man Without Fear was more utility based and everything, in my opinion. This one feels more tribal and everything like that. So, but the question on the table, does he have his Panther powers? He should, unless we're indoctrinating the 1999 into the 616. He should have his Panther abilities. Even though we never saw Bash in the previous run, she didn't have a conversation with T'Challa and say, they kicked him out of Wakanda. She never said he was no longer her avatar. That ain't what she said. He should still.
Even in the Marvel Voices excerpt where he was talking to Bash, there was still a very like my avatar, my God relationship, my deity relationship, very Moon Knight Khonshu, you know?
Even in I want to say Marvel Voices, yes, even in Marvel Voices, the very first story, he's still Black Panther. Zaravari is in that story. He goes to the ancestral plane. He's still acknowledged as the Black Panther in that story. T'Chaka tells Nahanda, hey, can you go talk to my son real quick? Go holler at him real quick. She puts her arms around him. He's even seen in the Djalia as the Black Panther. So, and he's not able to acknowledge the Djalia unless he is the Black Panther. And Bast ain't killed him. He's still living. So to answer your question, he should still have the abilities of the Black Panther. No, he shouldn't be human. He should be superhuman. The same guy that was able to stop a 3,000-pound rhinoceros from running over Cantu. That's who we should still have.
I believe that heart-shaped herb is part of his lineage. Then it's you're gonna have to do some hard explaining as to why he doesn't have those powers. But when I was kind of looking at the makeup, right, he's got the spear, obviously. He's got a couple of throwing daggers. It looked a little bit utility-ish to me, but I definitely took some of the tribal takeaways that you got from it too, the slash marks over the eye, things like that.
And then how do we reconcile this? Because it's a great question. It's a loaded question. He's an Avenger. So how we doing this? Is he superhuman in the Avengers, but you gonna portray him as a regular Joe over here in this book?
Yeah, that's why I think he has the powers, right? Because it's already been established that he still has his powers, and there was really no reason to take them away, right? Because Voldemort over there didn't take them away in his run, so why do worse than what he did? You know what I mean? Let's not drive it further into the mud now.
He didn't drive him away, but watch this. Did Voldemort take his abilities away? No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
But you know what we got to explain? Here's the thing. The guy that's able to stop the 3-pound rhinoceros, Jai Amalolo not touching him. See, that's the problem right there that has to be resolved.
Let alone drawing blood. You know what I mean?
That's the problem that has to be resolved, and that's why some of us have stuck to reminding people of who this character is, what his abilities are. The dude that had this character before didn't give two damns. The guy can stop a 3,000-pound rhinoceros. That's canon. That's written that's in the bio of his abilities. An example of one of his abilities. Who put hands on him? You gotta explain that. Like at some point in time, this just be me giving somebody an idea. He got to tell.
You want to know who? I'll tell you who. John, Lola, Steve, the secret agents.
He got to tell them, I let y'all win just to make y'all feel because I knew I had messed up. That's what he got to say. He got to literally say it. No different than what Bruce Wayne would say, because when Bruce got tired of guy guarding his mouth, what he did? He chin checked him. He got to be able to say, I let y'all win because I felt bad about what I did. And then it's got to be somebody that try him where he beat their ass in 1 to 2 moves.
Oof. Ooh, who do you want it to be? I know who I want it to be. Who do you want it to be?
Well, I know what I could say, but then that would be gender versus gender. So I don't want to say that. It would have to be, for lack of better, because they're not going to do it with Steve. It would have to be Sam. Like that would be him and Sam working out that frustration. Where he tells Sam, I've always cared about you, but in this particular instance, I couldn't, bring myself to put my hands on you, but let it be known. And he take care of about 2-3 moves. I'm still T'Challa.
Yeah, for sure. If we need to offer up Sam as a sacrificial lamb to reestablish the power, I'm fine with it. But I'm thinking if we're gonna stay within Wakanda with it, Tosin. I think Tosin would be a perfect character if Tosin survives. If Tosin is going to be a character that we continue to talk about, because that's another thing, because I have no clue whether or not it's going to be a thing or not. But if Tosin survives, from what we've seen from him in Voldemort's run, it was like it was a bratty teenager yelling at his elders, but only just when you would expect him to get his act right, for him to realize the error of his ways and that maybe he should be listening instead of talking so much. No, they just gonna make him the new protector of Wakanda because we ain't got no more T'Challa. It's like it's unearned, and so if he is the new Black Panther, and while T'Challa is gone, he's been elected or whatever. And I would love to see that dynamic between those two. Because number one, you know that shit ain't gonna last. Number two, if he is gonna be a character that you continue to write, I want to see him earn some of this stink that you giving him. You know what I mean? Some of this all this extra that you putting on Tosin. Because I haven't seen him do anything. I haven't seen him earn it.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know what their plans are for Tosin because I really want to say it was either in the Wakanda story that book that Tosin showed up in, or maybe one of those short stories in Wakanda Voices. But in that particular story, his girlfriend foresees his death. So I don't know. I know the dude that came before had a hard on for Tosin. He wanted that to be his guy. He wanted him to be the Wakandan. I know that's what he wanted. I don't know for sure if anyone else feels like that about Tosin. So I don't know.
But who else would it be though? Because they obviously have to have a protector, right? Like it's a tradition. So
T'Challa's gonna be. Ain't nobody protecting Wakanda. Now, to your point, would I like to see him put hands on Tosin to give him some act right? Sometimes that's needed, and that might go toward building a bond. As I've said before,
make him more endearing to the readers than what he is now.
I like Tosin as a character, and one of the things that you and I and many others have talked about is how oncoming authors do away or totally ignore the previous author's creations, which does nothing to build the world of T'Challa up. So I want to see Tosin. I want to see Amalolo. I want to see Folasad. I want to see him use them. All these characters can coexist. Wakanda is a nation. Like what we talking about? Like, I'm sorry, Wakanda is a city. For real? We got everybody in mama running around New York. We ain't got everybody in mama running around in Wakanda.
Yeah, right. So something else that I was able to pick up reading some of the solicits about the first couple of issues that are coming out here. Apparently, there's going to be an arc about a crime family in the capital. Well, not the capital city. In Burn T'Chaka. Where do you land with that kind of arc? Because I mean, it's very. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily a westernized storytelling. Because I mean, you could have crime families all over. Anywhere where there's power, there's bound to be crime. But I guess it's an atypical story for a Wakanda setting. How do you anticipate something like that going over?
I would like to see it for this reason. One of the things that if we're talking culture, to your point, there's crime in every culture. But there's crime bosses in every culture. You know, it's just because you and I live in America, we've adopted American terminologies, mafia, gangs and everything like that. Okay, well, what would it be if this is a crime family? What would that crime family be called in Africa? See where I'm going?
Yeah.
What would they be called? Now, you can't portray this crime family like an American crime family. We can't do that.
Sure.
You gotta portray it like it's an African crime family. You get that right, nobody has any problem. We've had crime families in Asia. What do we call them?
Crime family or no, you got wait, hold on. The Yakuzas.
Yeah, and how do we portray them in every movie? How do we portray that Asian crime family in every movie? We don't portray them like the Italian mafia. That ain't what we're doing.
No. Everybody has their nuances. You're right. And this would be explorative because we haven't really seen it from this angle before. So
right. As long as she nails that, I'm here for it. I ain't mad at
some of these comments, man. I didn't realize we've been going so crazy in the chat. Man. Definitely appreciate everybody engaged with us coming out for sure. I ain't going all the way back to the top though. Hold on.
Mr. Morlock says T'Challa need to fold all of Wakanda at this point. Let T'Challa whoop on Buffalo Soldier as well, Black Claw too.
Yeah. Dre Mack giving us a nugget. They were looking to replace Chadwick in 2018. Hey, listen, man, that story seemed to appear and die about as fast as it popped up, and no one ever talked about it again.
You know why? For the same reason Cat Williams be talking about.
Is this Nathan Moore? Is this Nate Moore in the chat? Nathan Moore?
Wait, man, stop playing.
After the success of the first Black Panther, Disney was shook by its success. They wanted to move away from the Black Panther franchise. They don't care. Nate, are you giving us inside information?
What are you looking at?
In the House of Mouse?
What are you looking at, man? I'm not seeing
Nathan Moore. Hold on. Wait. Racing by Heart 101 says, what up? What up, Racing by Heart? And then the next one, Nathan Moore.
I see it. After the
Nate trying to give us some inside information. Y'all ain't trying to tell us.
Hey, look, he told us the same. He telling us the same thing Derek told us.
Hey. About right with me. Let's see here. Mesomorpheus. We really expect Nate Moore to admit he was wrong. Probably not. I mean, no one from Disney ever really admits that they were wrong when bad projects come out. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't. Kevin Feige doesn't. The only one that halfway does is Bob Iger, and he has to because he's CEO. He's the boss. He's got to atone for something.
Come on, I like Mesomorpheus. Bass didn't strip him, and unlike the movie, drinking the herb doesn't strip them away. Thank you. Can
we roll in that for just a moment? What a great comment, because what even was that? What was that? Like, he's dying from the herb that's been in the probably most likely the oldest male descendant in each generation of his family going back hundreds of years. But all of a sudden, it's making his tummy ache. And the only way that we can get it out of him is to give him a new herb?
A synthetic one. Wait. So you mean to tell me, because watch this, Kaizo would call this lazy writing.
Absolutely.
So how did the heart-shaped herb grow in the first place?
11.
Yeah. How did the heart-shaped herb grow in the first place? So when he burnt it, there wasn't a way for it to grow back?
And then also, I feel like...
go all the way back with it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, these things been growing since 1 million BC.
Yeah. Not to mention, again, smartest country on the planet. Let's put our most valuable resource, round it up in one spot, every last bit of it, every last trace of it, and put it in one spot, here, in a cave. This is the only place that you can get it, only place you can find it. In case of disaster, all of this is gone, everything is lost. Sounds like a great contingency plan, doesn't it?
I'm not going to say anything because, you know me, I had a hard time getting past the first 5 minutes of the movie. I knew I was in trouble when they literally introduced the idol from Major League as T'Chaka's brother. I knew I was in trouble then. I was like, because me and Mr. Smith is crazy. Me and Mr. Smith talked about this last night. He had a best friend, no longer with us and everything like that. A best friend who was seriously into comic books, action figures collected and everything like that. And part of Mr. Smith rocking with the Rock With Me Nation is finding that love to customize action figures again and everything like that. He had lost that. But he stated the same thing. We watched Major League, and I think this is what people get twisted. We watched a lot of movies in our lifetime, people starring in it that don't look like me.
Yeah.
And I'm a nerd and I'm a jock. Figure it out. I'm inclined to watch movies where I'm not the star and I ain't. Wesley Snipes was in that movie.
Yeah.
Dennis Eckersley was in that movie. He played Pedro Serrano. This was the same Wesley Snipes we were looking at from Passenger 57. He was at the height of his career. So you know we watching a movie, right?
Yeah.
There's no, and me and Nate Moore in the same age group. There's no way on hell somebody wrote that. Your mind didn't go back to it and say, no, we can't even do that.
Cougar is a major league fan. It was an Easter egg.
We got it. Exactly. That's exactly the
Easter egg.
I said, oh, you watched the movie? Damn.
It was an Easter egg for Major League.
Major
Black Panther.
That's what that was. So I knew not to take the movie seriously after that, but when you look at some of the aspects in the movie that were clearly credible to the character, to Meso Morpheus' point, the only consume the heart-shaped herb after you become the Black Panther is to commune with the dead and the Dajjal. You're not stripping yourself of the powers. It doesn't work like that. It just gets you in touch with the Dajjal. Watch this. You ready? Taking the heart-shaped herb again is like smoking weed.
Yeah. Elevate your mind.
Not the first time. That's something else. That's something else. But the second time around, every time after that, you're going into a psychedelic state. People are gonna look at Theo. You saying we? Okay, well, what you want me to say? What the Native Americans do when they speak to the ancestors, when they speak to the spirits, it's the same damn thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Get a few more of these. Where do we we'll leave off? Real Bass. Dre Mack doesn't think that they should incorporate anything from the movies into the comic book run. I concur. Still haven't seen the real Bast in the MCU, D. Stiesel says. Man, what a waste. What a waste of a casting and an announcement in Thor Love and Thunder. What a waste.
Wait, how much did they give? How much stink did they put on that? Like, how many press releases did they do for this actress to get people hyped? Bast gonna be in Thor Love and Thunder.
Introduced her. And so like it's again, the way that this company is being ran right now is so funny. So like they were pretty close to the release of the movie before we knew that like Bast was going to be featured in this film, because they released Whole Girl's name and told her that she's starring as Bast and da. We had set photos, we had some clips from the trailer, we seen it. Okay, you had Valkyrie and old girl sitting next to her.
Hold on. They even talked about her possibly showing up in Moon Knight. You remember that? Yeah. They were trying to explain why Bast wasn't in the Temple of the Gods in Africa. Oh, yeah. She hanging out with Thor. They put a lot of stank on it.
Only to not give her a single speaking line, or to just cut them all out so that Taika can put more screaming goats into the movie. Either way,
she was on screen for less than a second.
Like if you wasn't searching for it, you'd have missed it. Like the first time I went to go see it in the theater, I missed it. I was like, yo, did they cut her from the movie completely? And then like seen internet photos and stuff of the scene where she showed up, and I was like, yeah, I guess I saw that, but it was.
Now watch this. This is how seriously I look at it. Suppose as a Black Panther fan, because Marvel did drive that point home, she was going to be in the movie. Suppose you weren't necessarily a Thor Love and Thunder fan, but you wanted to see Bast. How much money did you just waste? Watch this one. I'm going to double back on this one. How long did the funeral scene for Chadwick Boseman? I'm saying that because that wasn't the color. How long did the funeral scene for Chadwick Boseman last in Black Panther 2? Because that movie was what, 2 hours and damn near 45 minutes, 54 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
How long was his funeral scene? 5
minutes or so? Yeah.
You got people that look like me excited once again in the same year to spend money when there was no need to. Waste their money. Because if you went to Thor Love and Thunder to see Bast, you got cheated. If you went to Black Panther 2 to pay your respects to Chadwick Boseman, you got cheated. Because only 5 minutes out of
the bathroom in the first act
had something to do with you. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I hope you got to your seats early, because if you didn't, you missed it.
There it is. That's disrespectful to me and mine. You're pandering to us. You think we stupid, which is why we on social media letting you know all day, every day, twice on Sunday, don't you make not one more move without T'Challa, or it's going to fail.
Black Claw 2, it should be Tosin. Dude is insufferable. Absolutely. He needs some act right.
He
Black
does.
Claw, you need to get smacked over the head a couple of times.
Jason Todd.
If Eve writes him, I think Eve will expand on the character a little bit. The one thing that was lacking in some of those new characters that we got out of Voldemort's run was they they just didn't have any girth. They didn't have any weight. They were one-tracked mind. They were there to serve a specific purpose and nothing outside of that. Falasade was to serve to be the sort of oversight over T'Challa and not giving him an inch to breathe because he represents the monarchy and the patriarchy of old, and we are a new collective. We're a new democracy, and we're bringing in change and progressiveness, whatever.
He is
Progressivism, progress. Homeboy, what's his name? Achille literally just served as the most bare bones antagonist you possibly could have. Like, only surface level thoughts happening with these characters at each and every turn, where you would keep expecting there to be a twist because it's so painfully obvious what their motivation is. You expect for there to be a turn, and there never was. And so it made a lot of the characters that were being introduced feel hollow and meaningless.
Do you remember how excited we were when we saw them cats in their white costume? You remember how excited?
Yeah.
And then you remember how it was like, he ain't really telling us nothing about Amalolo and Jai. Like, you making it seem like they've been T'Challa's best friends for a minute now. We don't know them like that. We don't know them at all.
Yeah. Like
you said, he developed them characters on the surface. The story that he was trying to tell, that story don't work with those characters. That story would work with Zudi if he was still alive. Him and Wakabi, because they go back with T'Challa. That story works if you tell that story with Cantu, who's in the mute zone, who's still alive, because he and T'Challa were friends. That story works if you use Taku, his spiritual advisor, because he's still alive in Wakanda. Anybody with any history with T'Challa established back in the day, you want to write a story that he's being betrayed, those characters work. Nobody was emotionally invested to believe that Tosin, Amalolo, or Jai were anything to T'Challa.
Do you think that T'Challa has some allies? I mean, he's got to have some loyalists left in Wakanda, right?
Yeah.
Talking about the run here coming up. He's got to have some loyalists here. So where does that come into play? Maybe versus the what's it called? Versus the crime family. He kind of enlists some hidden allies that can't necessarily peek their heads right now, kind of thing. Because you would have to imagine somebody got to rock with the king. Someone.
Cantu is still in Wakanda. Let me say this. Cantu is in Wakanda. See, that's why I said that dude, you keep calling him Baltimore. Every time you do that, I have to think about the fact he got a bald head. Cantu is living in the mute zone. Not only is he there, this the dude who found spare vibranium laying around and built a whole damn laboratory in the woods in Wakanda. A dude that has animals and flora and fauna built out of vibranium that he can control. He's still in Wakanda. Okay, I said Taku was still in Wakanda, right? His husband is in Wakanda. Venom. Like, pause for a second. Vibraxis. He's still in Wakanda. Like, well, I'm not gonna do that because that's a great question. Where all T'Challa homeboys at? They right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They like. I really want to say. I forget what it was. I really want to say it was one of them Wakanda books. In one of them Wakanda books, they actually have Vibraxis visiting. What is it? Wakanda Prime. Bro, come on back. This dude needs you. The characters are there. The question is whether or not the writer cares about the characters that are there.
For sure. Let's speed through some more of these comments. Dre Mack, like when Deadpool tried to sneak into the Avengers Tower and T'Challa beat the brakes off of him. Classic. Chillmonger, Eve would be petty if she offs Tosin. I don't think she would even off him. If she's not gonna do nothing with him, I don't even think she's gonna pick him up. That's how paper thin that character was. You could never write the word Tosin ever again in a Black Panther comic, and I don't think it would change a thing.
Here's the thing.
I don't think it would change a thing.
I would disagree just because of this. T'Challa does not have writers have not done what needed to be done for T'Challa in my eyes. Okay, where is Dick Grayson at? Where's Tim Drake? Where's Jason Todd? Huh? But I'm saying that's Barbara.
Especially if you're saying Dick, somebody who ends up being his own mantle toter, right? It should be Shuri.
That's Barbara Gordon. That's Barbara Gordon. Reginald Hutland, they've already said that's Barbara Gordon. She got her own, trying to spin her back into being the Black Panther. That means you don't have any faith in who she is.
You don't think Shuri's griot is akin to Dick Grayson's Nightwing?
No, I think that's Barbara Gordon. Because when I say that, you don't have any other developmental characters around him. Shuri been around for a minute. Now we say we want to 6 years, 2016 or whatever. She vetted. She vetted. But T'Challa been around since when? 67, 66? Where's the character? Because Cap got Bucky. Okay, well, you didn't mess around and gave Peter Miles.
An apprentice. Yeah, right. Anyways, an apprentice.
Now, low key, it should have been Dwayne, Night Thrasher. It should have been him. But you killed him off. So where is that younger male? I would like
Gentle?
Huh?
Gentle, maybe?
That if you bring him back to Wakanda, but you currently got him
on Rocco. You're right. Yeah.
You currently got him on board. I'm not opposed to that relationship with Gentle. I think it would be unique. Two different power sets there. I would love to see it. But you gotta start fleshing out this dude's tree and constantly killing off characters. Here's the thing. It's not that we dislike Tosin. We dislike, and I'm saying this as a writer, I don't dislike the character. The character is fictional. I dislike the way the guy wrote it.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
So this character, there's enough there. I like the character's hairstyle. I like the character's origin story. I low-key can vibe with the character's first costume. I can get down with the character really not feeling T'Challa right off the rip. That's Jason Todd. We've seen this before. But the clown killer over there in Batman, Joker War, the clown killer. Give him someone who ain't got to see eye to eye with him, but let's start fleshing out his tree. That way we're not asking questions like that are valid. Where was everybody when he was going through this? When do Batman go through something by himself? When he won't.
Yeah. When he chooses. Where we at? William Moloch, T'Challa need to fold all of Wakanda at this point. Hey, listen. If T'Challa was on like some, y'all really did this to me. Y'all can't do this shit to me. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. If he decided to do that, I'd be here for that book.
Listen, okay?
I'd be here for that book. Where we at? Oh, how do I keep losing my spot so quickly? Black Claw, let T'Challa whoop Buffalo Soldier as well. Buffalo Soldier. Okay, so that made no sense. Villains that popped up in Voldemort's run. You got the Colonialist. You've got. Did he kill Jai? Did Jai die?
Yeah, yeah. No, Lolo cut his head smooth off, bro, and then gave it.
He can't come back. Buffalo Soldier will be there, obviously. Colonius, Buffalo Soldier. Is Akili in prison?
Dead.
He's dead too. Okay, he killed him too. Okay, so Colonialist and Buffalo Soldier. Do we want to see either one of them ever again?
Well, the Colonialist.
I know for sure I don't want nobody talking about you a Negro feline in the comic book pages of Black Panther ever again. I know that.
The Colonialist is dead. He was killed by the young ladies who all of a sudden could speak English at the drop of a dime and 33 other languages.
Are you trying to tell me that all of the villains from this run outside of Buffalo Soldier who kind of got redeemed are dead?
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Oh my God! Imagine having 4 different villains in 15 issues of a comic book, and all of them dead at the end of it. Jesus.
Very good.
So Morpheus. T'Challa needs to get back that W back from Steve. Man, he had a broken arm when he mixed it up with Voldemort in Voldemort's run. Bruh, man, yes. We need to get back. I don't know where it's gonna happen or for what reason, but we need to atone for that. He kicked my boy ass and told him to go back to Africa.
Listen.
We got to get that back. That felt like Tyson Fury and Wilder all over again. We got to get that back. That felt like Jake Paul and Woodley all over again.
You ready? Well, when you got Myron and Walter's uncle talking, I'm not surprised.
Well,
you see what I just did, didn't you?
Yeah.
When you got their uncle talking, he said go back to Africa. He wrote that for Steve, but the dude who has studied has a degree in Eastern Asian languages. That's the same dude who wrote that article. And what was the book?
The Esquire magazine.
He wrote that article in Esquire magazine. We had so many pleasant things to say about his fellow brothers and sisters.
Oh yeah,
that's how he feels.
Yeah,
that's how he. So he just used the cap. He just used cap to put the word.
I think the colonialist was his favorite.
That's it.
That was his favorite thing to run. Right.
When
he wrote that line, he said, "Ooh, Negro feline." They'll really like that one. That one will go over well. Love that one. Put that in there. By Odin's Fade.
Would you invite him to the barbecue? Could he come to the picnic? Could he come to the picnic?
Nah, player. You gotta stay outside.
He can't come to the barbecue over a Black Panther story?
For sure. Absolutely. Where am I at?
D. Steele said T'Challa needs a master of evil, Sinister 16 with supervillains to battle. He low-key got them. Just don't use them all at the same time.
Yeah. Tulsa was created in the midst of Chadwick's death, and I felt like he was created to replace T'Challa. I could see that. That was Dre Matt. I could see that. Well, or at least to have another, black male option in case the rebranding of Shuri being the Black Panther didn't work. Right? Similarly to what they did in the film. Like, I stay off of the I think his name is Noel, the child actor that plays Toussaint in Wakanda Forever. Like, I have no smoke for that little boy. I hope him the best. I hope they bring him back. Go ahead.
Why couldn't he play young T'Challa? Like,
no, he could have absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
People. I love when people go out of their way to say, "Well, you just don't want this child to do this." You don't. Why?
It's not that. What it is that okay? We're not going with a new T'Challa. That's out of the question. Who's going to take the reins? Okay, we want it to be Shuri right now. We're on the woman kick. We want our female-led heroes to drive the brand right now. It's going to go with Shuri. But as an insurance policy, what they did was they gave you a child candidate for the throne that they could age up at any moment in the case of it not working out with Shuri. So it was like, we got to go back to the guy. Just kind of keeping that Rolodex of black characters going, because that's how you fill a mantle. You have options that you just interchangeably throw as you go.
As opposed to just going with Deadliest of the Species.
Man.
You got a story in the house
that will
explain why the character ain't in the movie and when and why the character will look different when you decide to reintroduce the character. Story was right there. During the Christopher Priest run, T'Challa was bald-headed.
Yeah.
What Eric Killmonger had a whole ass Jerry curl. Let's not do that. My dog ain't never had no locker. Jerry curl. That's what my dog had, a Jerry curl and a shag with it. He did. Beating people with belts. How Americanized. But no, the story was right there. Inexplicably, inexcusably, they chose to do something else. And to me, the biggest middle finger was when they cast Harrison Ford as Thaddeus Thunderbolt.
Thaddeus Ross. Yeah.
That was the biggest middle finger. If as a person who ain't really good with numbers, it was 5 months later they decided to recast the character. That benefit of the doubt was not given to the black character. No, I notice I said black character because that's what he literally Black Panther. That benefit wasn't given. Why? They can't tell you why. What they can give you is a million excuses. So hopefully we can get what we gonna get out this run. Like I said, I'm excited for it. I know me and you both looking forward to it. I need the action figure, E.
Yeah. Chillmonger says because there can't be poverty as a motivator in Wakanda. I think we were talking about probably when we were talking about the crime family thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dre Mack, it was a public L word, something they did to black men since coming on the ships. Hey, speak on it.
Wines with wrench.
Yeah, speak on it. They should recast T'Challa with another actor instead of killing him off with Chadwick Boseman. No more lazy writing, plus other people getting too much emotions into this. Just recast. That is D-Man 92. I share your sentiment, D-Man. What up, Gray? Marvelous D. What's up? Let's see, we got some more. Black Claw, anyone think the Antelope chick in the up-and-coming run will be a love interest to T'Challa in the long run? Theo, what's your thoughts?
Man, me and you just read. We saw Aurora kicking it with a dude on Mars.
Yeah, I think it's curtains for that. You know.
Here's the thing. I've talked to quite a few people about their relationship. The people that feel the strongest are the ones who's like, what is it with the editorial department's decision to keep them apart? Now, people don't like to read. They just like to challenge. That is an editorial directive. They say that whenever Aurora is around T'Challa, even though we got Sue Storm as a member of the Fantastic Four, we literally got Carol Danvers, the leader of the Avengers, with Tony Stark, who she says in this issue of the Avengers was her sponsor when she was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
She literally said that.
Yeah.
But we don't want to put T'Challa and Aurora in a relationship. Now, I'll tell you what Mr. Smith is going to say. That child would easily be more powerful than Franklin Richards.
I mean,
That's
not even just in terms of power set, because I don't know how that would shake out with the heart-shaped herb mixing together with the X gene. Like that, it just determines on what kind of power set you get. But in terms of influence, though,
they don't want that. They don't want that.
The heir to the throne in Wakanda, and related to one of the greatest leaders on the mutant side too, former regent of Mars.
Do you know how many future stories you could tell? When I say future stories, like you could start a story and like, here we go. Let's say T'Challa and Aurora had a baby this year, 2023, right? You could tell an alternate future story in 2024 because he would literally be the child that brings Wakanda and the mutant nation together. That's a storyline. Like, forget what we're talking about. That's a storyline in and of itself. The queen of mutants, the king of Wakanda coming together. Those two nations would have no choice but to be united. Imagine the type of stories you could tell. Just spin it forward for a few years. We did Days of Future Past. Do another Days of Future Past in Wakanda. Except this time we got the son or the daughter, the twins, of T'Challa in a royal robe. See what that looked like. Shuri as a grandmother.
Yeah.
You know how many stories we leaving out there? We don't even want to tell. Like, you don't want to tell the story. You don't. Never mind. Because it's too easy. You just gotta want to.
All right, looks like we've been going on for minute 4. We've been in here, man. Time flies when you're having a good time, and I appreciate everybody messing with us for sure. I'm gonna hop around on some of these. I'm gonna get to the bottom of the list on these comments, y'all. Y'all been going crazy. Let's see. He said the only villain from this run will be me, Chillmonger. Talking about Ridley. T'Challa still has to run that fade on Steve Rogers, period. I respect Gray, absolutely. East Diesel, John Ridley and the Wakandans talking like they're from the East Coast. They was talking like they was from somewhere, not Africa.
They wasn't talking like they was where he was born from. They was talking like where he went to school at. He was born in Indiana, so one of them, Wisconsin or something like that. So yeah, he had them talking straight like they was from New York.
Haram you foul? I'm positive I said that wrong. Dang it, I'm late. It's cool, bro. Go on, run it all the way back. Do what I do to most of the live streams I watch. Take that mug and go all the way back and just pretend that you caught it from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
I never catch them on time, so that's what I end up doing. Just run that joint back. The comments will still be flowing in. It'll feel like you're still part of the show.
Man, they out of control. Dre Max said that's a damn shame Uncle Ruckus was right at BP. These Steves will say John Ridley said, but y'all gotta try my special potato salad with raisins recipe.
Hey, he definitely walked back into the kitchen like, did y'all try mine? If you asking people did they try your food, you know the answer and you know why they're not eating it.
Bro,
you know why they're not eating it. Did y'all try my potato salad? Did y'all try my Black Panther run?
Let me ask you a question. We both get our comic books from the comic book store, our local LCB. Did you ask your comic book owner how he felt about the Black Panther run?
I did actually. And what he said to me when I asked him, because it was about the time that I stopped reading it. It was around like issue 6 or 7.
Right.
And I was just kind of talking to him about some of the stuff that I didn't like. And the conclusion he came to was like, man, I get it. I just kind of want to go back to T'Challa kicking ass and doing stuff and like thinking things through. And like I sat there and my brain blew up because it's older white guy, 50s, right? Been reading comic books for a long time. And it's like the same way I feel about, like, we can get caught up in a lot of times because we talk representation. We talk about Black representation specifically. So you start thinking that a lot of the feelings that you have are tied to that. Sometimes we just think as general comic book fans and we want good stories. And there are people outside of our community that want the same thing for that character.
That's why I asked that question.
For that character. This is not even necessarily a Black issue because they're doing the same thing to Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a top 2 character in the top 2 comics.
Why y'all ain't warned me about that book?
What's up? What'd you say?
I said, why y'all ain't warned me before I bought that damn book?
Yeah, no, you shouldn't have picked that up. But he's top 2 for any publisher, right? It's him and Batman.
Yes.
It's him and Batman. And they doing him dirty. So it's yeah, we gonna get it a lot more. We have a lot more examples and instances of our characters being done like this. But if you can go to somebody like Peter Parker and try to deconstruct him, I mean, it seems more of a company directive than it does individual writers coincidentally coming up with the same type of arcs. It's what it feels like.
But what are we saying? When we make that statement, what are we saying? That the comic book companies are deliberately deciding to write bad stories. Like, that's a powerful statement.
I don't think that they think they're bad. I don't think they think that they're inherently bad. I think that they are trying to tap into markets with this comic book genre that were previously ignored by the comic book industry for a long time. Right? Women, young girls, the LGBT group or community, right? Like they haven't gotten their hooks into those communities to get perpetual cash flow. They can count on young men. They can count on moms to a certain degree that have young men as sons. They can count on older men who have been reading these comics for a while. But all the other demographics, they had to rely on that kind of trickle down effect. Oh, older guy, but I'm bringing my daughter and my son. Oh, young man, but I'm bringing my mom and my sister along with me. They wanted a direct line to those markets. And so I feel like that is what resulted in some of the mantle swaps or some of the new character descriptions that we got. It's been very, very targeted towards those audiences.
Here's what I'm going to say. Taking into consideration what you said, especially about the owner of your local comic book store, who he is. I had a similar conversation with the owner of my comic book store. I think he's younger than me. And there's a couple of guys working there, but everybody said the same thing. Upon further review, what I believe is going on is this. To your point, they're pandering to certain groups. You need to pander to the comic book fan. And the reason why I say
make some money. If you want to make some money, you better pander to the people that's spending it.
Watch this. The reason why I say that is this. Because somebody infamously said they're not concerned about the comic book fan. They're concerned about the casual fan. That's the wrong move. Because the casual fan
don't come if we don't like it.
Wait, watch this. Because I'm finna get there. I know I'm long-winded. The casual fan don't care nothing about all that stuff.
No.
What they're getting wrong is the comic book fan crosses all demographics. The comic book fan is female, male, black, white, Jew, Gentile, heterosexual, member of the LGBTQ. You already got them. The gay person that was going to come to the movie as a comic book fan, guess what? They already buy action figures. They already read comics. They already buy the DVDs. They already buy the other merchandise. They customize action figures. That's what the gay person is already doing. That gay person ain't no different than any other damn demographic. You losing money because you going after the gay person or the black person that ain't interested in none of that. Could care two damns about it.
Well, that's also if a person is gay or if they're a woman or if they don't fit your standard demographic to who you would normally be selling to. If they're seeking your product out, doesn't it stand to reason that they are also comic book fans and will be looking for the same things that the comic book fan in the opposite demographic is looking for? Like, I just, it's been a very interesting way. Honestly, 10, 15 years from now, there will be books, there will be marketing like class books, like, courses written on how Disney has diagnosed the market. There will be books written about this because it really is a case study in how not to respond to your fans, how not to respond to dips in your IPs or your returns in your films or your television shows, your merchandising. Like, this will be a case study in how not to wade some of these waters when you get into trouble with critics or box office returns. They will be telling the story of how this thing unraveled with Disney for a while, because it is really something astonishing, man. How tunnel vision that they have been, but now that they find themselves in this position. It's kind of like, oh, well, now we flounder. We're trying to figure stuff out. We're firing people. We're firing writers that should have never been hired in the first place. And it all kind of feels like it may just be a little bit too late. But, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
You know what's amazing to me? What is amazing to me is you could say we don't want to hire people that know the information. It's almost as if the DJ is determined to play their own music. Fans are a valuable resource of knowledge when it comes to comic books. Fans are a valuable resource when it comes to, okay, my comic is doing bad or my comic is doing good. Fans will let you know because they want the comic book. What I find so interesting, so telling, is that during the 70s, we had T'Challa show up in the comics with a half mask on. Editorial felt like that was the best way to go. Because initially, they put the full mask on him because they were afraid of pushback. But his full mask became popular. They put the partial mask on. Fans from all demographics wrote in. They didn't type in. Well, they might have typed, but it was on the typewriter. Nevertheless, they mailed it in. Wasn't on no social media, anything like that. Could you imagine if Marvel didn't listen to that fan base?
Well, because the idea of marketing or the idea of running business back then was if you have a loud enough customer response, you respond to it. If you have a large enough customer outcry, something that would affect your bottom line, you respond to it. The nature now seems to be, from a lot of companies, not just Disney, is to find a way to either bury it or ignore it, or devalue it and then blame it on the people who are actually calling for something, calling them toxic. Like, that's in everybody's playbook now. Everybody who critiques a corporation or an executive within a corporation is now toxic, right? And that disqualifies you from having to answer to the actual criticisms that are levied. You get to skirt around it by saying, oh, I'm being unduly, attacked. And so therefore I shouldn't even respond to this. And then you just move on. Now you can do that until the cows go home. And then you end up where you are now financially if you're Disney. And the prospects you got going into this year are that you may not have a film that gets a profit, that you net a profit on all year. Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy. That's probably your best bet for the year, for all of 2023. So I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Bring this ball back home, folks. Because I told the missus I'd be on here for 45 minutes, and I've been on for 71 or 72.
Yep. And she is going to hurt you back.
So just to bring this all back around, I'm very excited to go pick this book up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Check me out on Twitter. I'll have some early thoughts, some early reactions. Oh, we got another Nate Moore sighting. Nate Moore popped back up. Man, let me find out Nate Moore be watching the pod, man.
Man, you know what? They can act like they ain't watching whatever. They know what we be talking about over here.
Right there, Nate Moore. I personally think you can do anything as long as it's actually good. However, most of it isn't good. I 1,000%. Gay, straight, woman, child, adult, senior citizen. If the movie is good, people will watch it. If the content is quality, people will watch it. It's not about necessarily who they're trying to sell to, it's how they're selling it, and it's not of quality.
Facts.
I'm hoping that the new Black Panther run that we're going to embark on tomorrow is of quality. I have great expectations for Miss Eve Ewing. I'm expecting great things.
You see me. I'm in celebration mode already. You see me? We redid the wall and everything like that. Everything Black Panther. So I'm rocking with you. Hopefully we can get your action figure right here. Hopefully we can get your action figure right here, Eve. I got a spot for you right here.
So, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you spending time with us. I know I missed some comments. I got to get out of here. But come and rock with us. Next week we'll have a review up for the comic book. Like I said, I'll probably have some thoughts on Twitter tomorrow. So if you follow us, everybody should be following us on Twitter at Back of the Bus, at BOTB Squad is our Twitter. So follow us there. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And we will be back with y'all. Theo, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. For sure. Please.